G'day everyone, it's Turbo Tristan here, and in today's video we are addressing the valve train of my K24. We're also going to do all the mods and button up the engine with all new gear. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, stop right there. This video started out nice and happy and joyful, and we were going to put together and button up my K24 to make a nice, reliable, beautiful engine out of something that was untouched, unmolested, and just a really good low kilometer engine. Things have changed. All of that went out the window, and yeah, things went really badly. So this episode just goes to show that it can happen to the best of us. Really simple mistake. Anyway, let's jump back into the video and you'll see where I got to, and then I'll pick up later on where I am now. So what exactly are we doing to this engine and why are we doing it? Well, we are going with uprated valve springs. These are titanium retainers and the bases, as well as beehive valve springs. I think these are the 90-pound ones. We've got brand new valve stem seals, and we've got some new, more aggressive angle and stronger retainers to hold in our titanium retainers. And we've also got genuine chain guides, genuine chain, genuine rear main seal, which I'm probably not going to use because this engine's fairly new. And we've got a genuine little gasket for the valve cover. We've also got a K20 oil pump, chain and windage tray. There are a few more surprises coming up for sealing up this engine, which we'll get to soon when we get to that. But first, the stressful job of changing out all the SuperTech valve stem seals, titanium retainers and valve springs, getting all that in the engine. I do have a little tool which I bought off eBay that helps me get all of that stuff out, and I also need to put compressed air inside the cylinder head to hold the valves shut while I do that. Whew. So I've just done one valve stem seal, one valve spring and the retainers. Check it out. So you can see the difference there. Fitted, these are beehive ones. They were recommended to me by Andy. Shout out Andy at Elusive. Andy recommended me getting the beehive ones, and you can see here they're in the shape of a beehive, so a little, you know, curved. The old ones can squeeze with my hands. These ones just slightly, but I am trying really hard. We've also upgraded to the SuperTech valve keepers. These guys, you can see, much deeper and a much more aggressive angle on the V. So these will help keep them in. We don't want to shoot these off in the engine and cause it to drop a valve. This is the retainer versus the titanium one. So weighs a lot less, plus designed especially for these. And then this is the base where the spring seats on. Basically just a piece of tin, and then we go to this solid piece of steel. We'll see what happens. I'm going to get all these done. It's probably going to take me all day, but let's get to it. And I'll show you guys once it's all done. I just did the dumbest thing possible. So when you are doing this with the air compressor, it's important to have the piston at the top of the cylinder that you are filling with air and changing the valve stem seals on. And I didn't do that. I just heard tink, and a valve dropped down into the cylinder. So now I have to take the head off. A pretty much perfect engine. I've got to pull the head off just to get one valve out and put the valve back in so I can finish off this job. It's always the job that's going to be, you know, a couple of hours in the afternoon, listen to music, and one silly mistake. This is going to turn into a 3-day ordeal because it's Saturday afternoon, Elusive's closed, I don't have a head gasket, I've got to get one. I wrecked a couple of the valve stem seals. I wasn't too worried about going and getting some fresh ones of those because I want to make sure that's done correctly. But the head gasket, well, that frickin' sucks. So annoyed right now. Well, let's look on the bright side. The head is off. Everything is perfectly brand new. I have given it a clean. They weren't this shiny before, but gave it a clean. This is the valve that is in question, the one that came out. And it was, yeah, just sitting in there like that when I took the head off. So it just means that I've got to throw on a new head gasket and retorque everything down. So frustrating. But mistakes happen and I've learnt. So I can also, on the bright side, build the head on the table. I don't need the air. There's no chance of me dropping valves or anything like that. So that is a positive. So I'm looking at that side of things. But anyway, now I'm going to go flip the engine upside down, make hay while the sun is shining, and install the windage tray and the K20 oil pump and the K20 oil pump chain. And I've got the little chain guide there and all that stuff to go with it. So I can do that. Sump is off and the old oil pump is off. Now it comes with two little windage trays. These are those. And this monster of an oil pump. Check out the size of that. And it's got a little windage tray built into it as well. So the whole thing's basically a windage tray. A windage tray catches the oil that flicks off around the crank when it's spinning at 1,000,000 miles per hour and just helps to channel the oil back where it's supposed to without foaming up and sloshing and making a milkshake in the bottom of your engine, and directing it, draining back down to where the pickup is for the oil rather than flicking it all over the place. So it's a very, very useful thing. Now this is the K20 oil pump. It's much smaller, it's much lighter, weighs a lot less, and it doesn't have these crazy balance shafts. So a balance shaft is these things inside here. The Evo has them. You saw me do a balance shaft delete, and they're weighted and they help reduce vibration and harshness throughout the car. They're so heavy and so weighted that they sort of spin on their own. So it's a lot of extra rotational mass to get that to move, which we are relieving from this engine now. And we're getting this one, which is very simple to move and very, very light. So it's going to help it rev higher without straining on anything else and cavitating your oil, and it flows more and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to stick this one on. One thing we need to do first is very important, is right here, this little guy, we need to jam something in there like a screw and then yoink that out and then block it off. It's actually already threaded under there, so it's designed for this mod. So I'm going to get that done, get the new one on. Now this one came out of my old K series. I've already done the mods here, given it plenty of clearance so that it bolts on. And the reason why you have to do that is this pattern here. It sort of bumps up over these bolts and you've got to make sure there's clearance. On a K20, this is just flat. So that's why you got to do that. So all of the structure and all of the production value went out the window when I dropped this little bastard valve in the engine. Wrecked my day. Anyway, we fitted the oil pump, windage tray, chains on, and we've got the block off in there. That's blocked off. That's just a M8 bolt. But let's check out the next thing, which is pretty exciting and pretty cool. This is a Unit 2 fabrication baffled sump. Now inside here, you can see and hear that there is all kinds of little flaps in there. Now I got this bad boy from Glenn Wallace. Glenn Wallace is, I think, in Goulburn from memory. Anyway, if you want to get one, he imports these in himself. He has a small business which helps all the guys that do circuit racing in their Hondas, K-swaps in particular. You can get these all over the place, but I found the best deal was through a fellow Honda boy, Glenn Wallace. And if you want to get one, I'll put his email address up here. It's wallacemotorsports@hotmail.com. It'll be right here on the screen. If you want one, shoot him a message. It was by far the best deal on one of these I found in Australia. So if you want yourself one of these, hit up Glenn Wallace on the email provided, or you can find him on Facebook, Glenn Wallace. He is the man. He's on all the K-Series pages. So inside the sump you can see all these beautiful TIG welds, and we've got the doors that open and close. They've all got a little bend in the end to still allow the oil to flow through when you're sitting there parked or going in a straight line. So any corners, so you turn this way, it stops the oil going out of the pickup there, or if you turn the other way, so when you go left, these ones open, these ones close. When you go right, these ones on this side close, these ones open, so it keeps all of the oil right at the pickup. So thanks again, Glenn. You are a legend. Link will be in the description. Shoot him an email and hit him up because he is a top bloke. Very easy to deal with. Highly recommended. Well, it's much later on. You've seen what I've done. You've seen how I got there. You saw my face and how frustrated I was at myself. I've managed to have a good laugh about it now. Everything wasn't so bad. It's a fixable issue, and it allowed me to inspect the engine and see that the engine internally is absolutely beautiful. It's perfect, and I'm just really happy. I'm assured now that I know the engine is great. We've got a genuine factory head gasket to go back on there. We're going to reuse that gasket for the inlet manifold. What I'm going to do also, because this engine's been sitting for a little while, there's a little bit of not rust or anything, but like a little bit of grit, let's just say, on the valves. So I'm going to lap them. And just like that, one simple mistake has cost me a few days, but we got it all in there. And I've gone through and cleaned up all of the whole valve train rocker assembly. Blew out that. I noticed there was a little bit of gunk inside there. But you can see in here we have the SuperTech valve springs and retainers. These are beehive ones. We've got the aggressive angle 7-degree keepers in there. New SuperTech valve stem seals. I also lapped all the valves and just gave everything a good clean up. Cleaned out all the ports, all the carbon's gone, everything's gone. Brand new head gasket, which is an OEM one I got from Elusive Racing. So I'll pick this up in a few days. See you then. Hey everyone, it's been a whole week and I've done heaps to the engine. I have gone ahead and got a set of Skunk 2 cams. Here is the box down here. They are the Stage 2 intake and exhaust. They're the biggest ones I can get while still running VTEC and having everything else working. So here you can see we've got the valve springs and retainers in, and we've got the Skunk 2 cams in. I had to replace the cam phasing little gears on the back, and I had to replace the cam gears. Now this is the 50-degree VCT, and I've also got a new wheel for here, so they're both on. Brand new genuine chain from Elusive, brand new chain guides from Elusive, and I've got the Blocks Racing chain guard little holdery thing in there. That's from Elusive as well. For me, I think it's a really awesome thing. It helps hold everything in place while you're, getting everything in position. As you can see here, we've got the little arrow down there at top dead center. And then we've got the dots here and here, which are right in between the chain links. And then there's little dots on this one, and that is in the right spot as well. Chain tensioner is on. I'm about to give it a turn over for the first time. All of the cam gear is all torqued to spec, so all the correct specs. And I've done the valve lash as per the Skunk 2 recommendations. And actually this engine is such good condition and such low kilometers that it must be the OEM specs, because it's perfectly valve lashed all the way around. So all the cylinders and all the valves are all perfect. So happy with that. Let's spin this around. These guys are never ever going to line up ever again. So let's see. And back to TDC. Right there. Absolutely perfect. Down the bottom, perfect. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and get the covers on. Yeah, we've got everything working exactly as it should. Valves going up and down. Crack a bit of VTEC right here. So I am just about to unveil the new color scheme here for the race car. Wow. I've been hinting it everywhere, but check this out. This is so bright. I don't know if it's going to pick up on camera, but it actually looks orange and it's like glaring off here. But this is a fluorescent red, inspired by the 90s. I always thought it was a really crazy color and never really saw it too much. It wasn't like the common fluoro yellow, blue, green, and pink. Or orange. This is not orange. The fluoro orange I had in the shop next to it. It's very different, although your first thought is it's orange. It's red, fluoro red, and I teased it on my keyring, which is actually a Brembo color, and the Hawkeyes would have seen it here on this little screen. So with the T7 design, black bits and pieces with the freshly painted engine, I think this silver, fluoro red and matte black is going to look absolutely unreal. Let me know what you guys think, and then you'll see how it's going to pop in the new engine bay color. Here it is in all of its glory. Check it out. I am actually so proud of that color combo and how that looks. And now it's all buttoned up, elusive racing, huge long boy headers. Long boy K-swap headers with a 3-inch V-band. Slip joints, step size piped for the F1 sounds. Every time this steps, it changes the frequency of the exhaust. So really, really well designed system there. So let's do a rundown. What do we actually have here? Well, it's a K24 A3, which is the Honda Accord Euro engine. It's a completely stock motor, but I have lapped the valves inside and given it a fresh head gasket. That was my fault. I dropped a valve in the cylinder. We have SuperTech valve stem seals, SuperTech Beehive valve springs. They're from Elusive Racing. And we also have some Skunk 2 Stage 2 cams. These are the biggest cams that you can get that are drop-in. It runs all your standard rockers and all your settings and everything like that is all fine. So it is a true drop-in cam. We've got a 50-degree VCT gear, and we've got a K20 oil pump down here in the sump. And then speaking of sumps, we've got a Unit 2 Fabrications sump. Now this is baffled to stop oil starve, stop it sloshing around. It's the best thing you can do besides going for a dry sump, which wasn't in the budget. But this is a true budget build because we've just done bolt-ons. The engine is still stock compression, all that sort of stuff. And down here we've got a billet T7 design swivel neck housing and thermostat housing. I've blocked this off because I'm not running the heater core or any of that sort of stuff. It is a race car. And this is all swivel, so you can move that anywhere you like. And you can also run extra temp sensors and things in there as well. I've blocked that off. I've blocked this off. And inside here is a 68-degree thermostat. So it's going to run a little bit cooler. All brand new from T7 Design, and that's from the spoolup.com.au website. I've added a -10 breather here to the crankcase ventilation. That's going to run to my catch can. That's on spool up as well. We've got the 10% underdrive pulley. We're going to be revving this engine till 9, and we don't want to overcharge the battery or put extra wear and tear on the alternator. Factory water pump. We are running the factory power steering, which I've rebuilt with an Elusive Racing rebuild kit. We've got the T7 Design billet alloy post there for the K-swap, and we've also got T7 Design chain tensioner block off plate. And you'll see here this really schmick fancy hardware is T7 Design's titanium kit, which does every nut and bolt on the case there, which looks amazing. All of these sensors that you see here are the same ones from spoolup.com.au as well. And we also have a T7 Designs upper water neck outlet. Again, block that off because we're not running the heater. You can run a breather here to help bleed your system. And we've got all the sensors as well from Spool Up. We're running the additional temp sensor here, and we've got the 74mm billet throttle body with all the K-tuned accessories on there. This is a China copy. Last eBay piece remaining from my last build. T7 Designs high flow competition fuel rail. Looks amazing. T7 Design smooth cover here for the coil packs. And then to match the theme of everything, we've got the hybrid racing dipstick, which I had in my old engine, and I've added the hybrid racing billet oil cap as well. And to me, I think this looks absolutely unreal. I'll probably stick a weld on there just to stop it coming away. I'm not sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Let me know what you think. I may as well do it while the steel's clean and while it's out of the car. Weld as far around there as I can, and then still put the springs on just in case any of the welds crack. Speaking of exhaust, we've also got the T7 titanium stud kit and hardware for the exhaust, so nice and lightweight. No one else has this, so just so proud of that. Just came to me one day, don't even know how or why, just popped into my head, fluoro red, and you'll see how it's going to pop in the engine bay when I stick it in.